Today I'd like to talk to you about capital letters and some simple rules to make sure that you're using capital letters correctly. The first rule with capital letters is that a capital letter should always be used at the start of sentences. In other words, if you use a full stop, the next letter must be a capital. Now there are no exceptions to this rule, which is a good thing because it means it's an easy rule to remember. If you use a full stop, the next letter must be a capital. The second rule I'd like to tell you about with regards to capital letters is that the first letter inside speech marks should always be a capital letter. For example, if I was to write, I heard him shout, "Hey you." I've got speech marks here, and so the first letter inside that speech, those speech marks, the letter H, needs to be capitalised. And I suppose in a way, hey you is acting as a sentence, and so this rule comes into play even though there's no full stop, because hey you can stand alone as its own sentence, and so it gets a capital letter. The third rule that I'd like to tell you about, which is a really important one with capital letters, is when to use them with nouns. There are some nouns that require capital letters all the time, and they are proper nouns. And then there are some nouns that do not require capital letters, and they are common nouns. So you can see that it's really important to be able to tell whether a noun is a proper noun or a common noun. So important that we're going to do another lesson on that after this. But for now, just remember that proper nouns need capitals. And when we're talking about proper nouns, we're talking about things like the names of people, such as Mr. Dyson, the names of places, such as Oak Flats, the titles of songs or poetry or plays or novels, such as Animal Farm, the names of days of the week, such as Friday, or the names of months of the year, such as April. Now, there are some exceptions that might trip you up along the way that you just have to learn. For example, the seasons, autumn and spring. You might think, given the days of the week and months of the year are proper nouns and take a capital, that seasons would be the same, but you would be wrong. Seasons are considered to be common nouns. So words such as summer has a lowercase s, winter has a lowercase w. If these common nouns become part of a title, then they're kind of like a common noun that's weaseled its way into a proper noun, and so it earns itself a capital letter. For example, if you were to say that you were going from Yabby Creek to Summer Bay, then the common noun summer now becomes part of the proper noun Summer Bay and takes a capital. And that's a rule that you can apply to all common nouns. For example, to say that's an animal over there is using animal as a common noun and there would be no capital. But as part of the proper noun and title Animal Farm, it now takes a capital. There is one more rule that I want to tell you about capital letters, and I really want you to pay attention to this one because it is a common mistake that I see a lot in students' work, and that is around the word I. I is a personal pronoun, and the rule with the word I is that it is always capitalised. A lowercase I cannot survive on its own. It's too small and insignificant. It will wither away. It must stand tall. If there is the word I, just using the letter I, it must be a capital. Now this can be confusing because I is a personal pronoun, and yet the other personal pronouns are all lowercase. Words like we, they, he, she. These are all personal pronouns, just like I, but they don't take capitals. It can also be a bit confusing because the only other single letter word in the English language, A, is lowercase. So why is the I capitalised? Well, we don't know exactly when it happened. It's lost in the mists of time a little bit. But it's probably because the lowercase I looked so small and insignificant on the page that printers and authors started capitalising it so that it wouldn't get lost amongst all the other words and letters. All you need to remember is that if there is an I on its own, it must stand tall as a capital, and you will never get that wrong again. Okay, thank you.